Hey there, it's Teresa with today's 2-minute mystery message starting now. I woke up early this morning because we're on our way to the Twin Cities for Christmas events this weekend with family and friends. And then the phone rang at about 10 to 7, our home line. When the phone rings on our home line at 10 to 7, I'm like, okay, what's up? What happened? Earlier this year, that's about what happened on the day that I learned my oldest sister had died unexpectedly. I was like, what happened earlier when one of my clients I've worked with for a long time called and said her husband was rushed to the hospital. This morning, it was a friend of my husband's, a client friend who called, who had always wanted to meet with Dan and I. He and his wife had always wanted to meet with Dan and I and get together because they loved Dan so much. And he called to say that his wife had died unexpectedly last Sunday. And they had been talking about, once again, trying to get together with Dan and I just in the days before she died. And so this man is crying and telling me the story of how he was so sad that they never did it, and how they were so grateful that they met Dan, and how he told the story of what happened, and he cried with me. And I felt honored and I felt touched, but more than anything, I was reminded of what seems so obvious and yet we so often forget, that every moment of our lives is precious, that every moment we get to spend with people we love is precious, that we don't really know what's going to happen. And so we have to make sure, as best we can, we treasure all that we have now. So as you enter into whatever holiday activities you may be celebrating, remember this, savor it. Blessings. I'll be back next week. That's my 2 minutes.